Yeah, my name's Anthony. I'm the director of fulfillment here at Authors. Yeah, we're just looking forward to talking with you. I've been at
Great.
Authors for a few years now, and your book was one of the first books I ever worked on as an editor. So I know your book through and through. I read the whole thing, obviously.
That's right.
I'm now overseeing all of our department, all the writers, editors, client people. So it's just been cool to see you come so far with your book. And so, yeah, from somebody who's read your book and edited it, it's just so nice to meet you in person.
Cool. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks so much for hopping on the call. We can just have a short call today. We just wanted to hear from you. We're just so excited to hear about your progress. We shared your update with our whole team, like the whole company. Everyone's just so excited to hear our clients, authors like you, just seeing so much progress from your books. And we just want to hear more about you. And we're going to record this, and so we can use this as a case study to have you on the website. We can really promote you and your book. But we just want to hear from you about kind of what drove you to publish a book, and we can maybe start there. Like, what drove you to publish a book, and why did you want to do this in the first place?
I think it's a unique profession that I was in. It's something that people hear about, see about in movies and TV shows, but they miss a lot of the nuances, and they miss a lot of um, real factual background that comes with working in that kind of an environment. So it was largely sort of what people believe, and anecdotally what people um, uh, sort of perpetuate based on movies and sort of misinformation and those kinds of things. So I thought it was a way to sort of give a first person perspective and sort of clear up some of those myths and doubts that and primarily it's about redemption, and it's about a message that not everyone that goes to prison is a horrible, terrible person that cannot, um, find a way to come out of it. There are good people that are locked up in prison, and there are bad people wearing badges, and that's the reality of it. And so I sort of wanted to uh, point to that and sort of let people know that there's realities on both sides. There are good and bad on both sides of it.
Yeah, sure. I read a lot of memoirs myself. I was just reading a Danny Trejo's memoir. He's like a big Hollywood actor. He started out
Yes,
in
I
prison.
know.
He was
Yeah,
incarcerated for a long time, and he talked a lot about the prison system. And I was thinking about your book, and same thing. He's like, there's a lot of guys who were locked up who were just really good people who made mistakes, and there was the guards that weren't. Anyway, so I thought that was a very prescient point you made.
yeah.
Well, yeah, great. And so your books sounds like it's just done really well since launch. And so I want to talk about kind of like the post-launch process. Right now we
Okay.
have a lot of authors launching, and a lot of our clients want to know like, what's it like after launch? What can I expect? We tell them about book sales and like what happens, but can you tell us about how your post-launch has been? Maybe some of the highlights you've experienced and how that book's affected not just your personal life, but your business, consulting. You talk about raising your fees. Tell us about what maybe people could hopefully expect after their book is launched.
So I would say the expectations, and I think I was fortunate enough to have spoken with Corey, who said, "Look, you are not going to sort of find yourself in a place where you're going to bring in financial rewards from the sales of the books. That's just not normal."
Hmm.
And I knew that going in that was not going to be the case. It was more about the tangential benefits that would come from the book, possibly recognition uh, of the book being something that provides more credibility in the kind of work that I do, which is consulting work, and it provides credibility and more exposure, and possibly reaching people that I would not be able to reach. So that was initially the goal. Where I think the best value that I found was promotions on LinkedIn led to, and my connections grew in LinkedIn over time. So went from like 500 connections to over 2,000, and then pretty soon I was getting like news anchors from ABC or CBS calling and saying, "Hey, can we connect with you?" And then we were doing Zoom calls, and then they would ask me questions, and pretty soon they're getting ready to write a story about, let's say, a case that involves jails or prisons. And then these reporters started calling me and said, hey, would you listen to our theme and see what you think, because we know that you know some things about this. So again, it needs to come from kind of a sense of goodwill. And of course, it's all unpaid, it's voluntary time, right? But I'm like, hey, it's worth the effort to talk to somebody, maybe because they're trying to do some good. So I did, and I did dozens of these kind of calls. And what happened is pretty soon the word gets around, and then I'm getting calls from reporters going, hey, we want you to show up live on a TV thing because we want to do an interview, and we got your number from this reporter at NPR or ABC or whatever. And slowly those things started going into like one TV show a month to like 4 TV shows a month. And pretty soon, I've now been on dozens with, TV shows, radio, and newspaper interviews. And every time the word gets out, and then I got these calls from people wanting to do podcasts, and then those people have like 100,000 viewers to a million viewers, and then the book sales started going up as those viewers happen, and people will be chatting away while the podcast is going on, saying, "Hey, I'm getting his book right now," and then you get another message like that, getting your book, and slowly that started becoming a thing. Again, it's not, the book sales are not the real thing. It's the other benefits that came from it. I guess as progression goes, it legitimizes you more. You get a lot more connections. And then, I got a TV producer that sent a thing saying, hey, I would like to connect with you on a future project for a TV show. And then maybe have you consult for that. So again, it's unknown where things might go, because these things, they sometimes are fickle. It comes and goes. But the fact that there's some interest generated, or that there's people that want to sort of connect because of that, I think it's in. I don't know if I can put value on that. It's been a pretty positive experience with that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks so much. We tell clients the same things, like book sales, that's not where the real revenue comes from. But we have clients who publish books, and their keynote speeches, or like someone's podcast just blows up because of their podcast tour. Can you tell us a bit more about some of the numbers you've seen post-launch, maybe just with your business? Obviously, it's all wrapped up. It isn't just like write a book equals 6 figures of business revenue, but I'm sure it helped. And like there's this process of like having a book increase exposure, whatnot. Can you tell us more about like just some numbers you've seen just with your business, consulting fees? A lot of our clients are like you, were like, how can this book help with that? What have you seen in those fields?
So I was very hesitant to increase my fees, just because I didn't feel like, it was legitimate enough for me to say, hey, I have a book out there, so therefore you should pay more. It didn't seem like it's the right thing to do. So I maintained my fees, the same fees, for about a year past the book. And then what happened is I started getting more and more clients from all over the country. So I'm doing a case in Hawaii. I'm doing a case in New York. I'm doing a case and so I started with like 3 states that I was doing consulting work for. And as the book started getting some legs, I ended up in 30 different states. So it sort of blew up to where I was getting clients from everywhere. And I don't know if it's a lot of it's word of mouth, but then I started getting attorneys going, hey, I saw you on a TV show, or I saw you on that podcast. And then they would send me a LinkedIn request and say, hey, can we connect? And I have some cases I want to discuss with you. So those gave me some additional exposure. And so I think as time went by, I got to a point where the number of clients got so big that I had to increase my fees, because I just couldn't sustain the number of clients. So by increasing the fees, I could bring in the same amount but have fewer clients. That was, one of the goals is not to work in a as hard as you any more than you need to, right? But that has not been successful. In spite of me increasing my fees, I'm getting more and more clients, and I have clients on a waiting list at this point, all the way through next year. So I'm booked up for the whole of next year because of whatever, I mean, yeah, some of it is the book, some of it is just building up the slow momentum that comes with it. But as far as figures go, definitively, I know that there was a 140K increase prior from the prior years compared to the full year after the book. So some of it is I'm going to say it's attributable to the book.
Right.
And
well, that's just so amazing.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to hold steady for the next year. And I mean, if it holds steady like that, or if it goes up a little bit more, but then you start getting calls from agencies where they say, hey, we want you to come in and sort of look at an incident and just do a review for us, and you don't even have to attend court. So, which most of my work revolves around me writing reports, going to court, testifying, and that's the other part is the book legitimizes you, especially in the industry, to where when you show up to court to testify in federal cases or whatever, it's one of those things that then they say, okay, we trust that this person has the necessary knowledge and experience to be able to testify in this case. And usually judges are aware of that. And if they challenge it, the judge says, well, I've read his stuff and he seems to be capable enough to answer these questions. So that's.
Wow. That's so amazing, Leonard. I love my job. I love hearing from clients like you. I love being able to help people do that because that's just so amazing. Wow.
I honestly think it's just people need to just remain humble. It's a lot of it is just being as humble as possible. Don't forget your humility, because it could be taken away in a second. So yeah. just have a sense of gratitude and say, I'm very thankful and I feel blessed.
Wow. Yeah. One or two more kind of questions. We talk with a lot of prospects who are like, I kind of want to write a book. I might have one. I don't know what the benefit is. A lot of people just don't really know what could happen if they publish a book. They think it's like, who cares? Like my friends and family will buy it. It'll look cool, like a resume. Like, well, it doesn't do anything. What would you tell prospects who are on the fence who might have an idea and are maybe reluctant to pull the trigger? What would you tell them about working with authors and writing a book and what that can do for them?
I would say it's, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So, I mean, I could spend my entire lifetime saying I had a book in me, I had ideas, but I never did anything about it. So you never fully realize the potential of something like that. But it's kind of like that song. It's better to have lost and loved than to have never loved at all. So to me, it's that I fully anticipated that I would fall flat on my face and it would mean nothing. It would be just an investment, and at least I got it out of my system. It was cathartic for me to sort of exercise the all of these thoughts and ideas and spirits and stories that I had with me, to put it out there. And in my personal experience, it was sort of a way to deal with my PTSD, because I went through a lot of trauma from the experiences working in that environment. And so putting it down on paper and sort of purging, it was a healing process. So it wouldn't have mattered if I didn't sell more than 10 copies. It was more of, what did I benefit from it was more than I can actually describe on paper. It was something that needed to be done. I needed to get it out of me. Now, working with authors, what it did was, I think it was the best way to provide focus. Because a lot of times it was, a journey of 1,000 miles, and I'm afraid to take the first step. I had ideas, I would jot stuff down, I'd get 25 pages, and then it would peter out. So it helped a lot because of that.
Well, Leonard, thank you so much. That's really all I have. I know that you're really busy. You have clients who are lined up waiting for you, so we can end up here. But thank you so much. We're definitely gonna post this on the website. Have like a link to your book there, like just drive traffic there. I think this is really just gonna inspire our whole team just to be like, wow, this is who we get to work with. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Anthony. Take care.